All right, welcome back, everybody, to Doha. And we've got Jannik Sinner taking on Tomas Machac. Very interesting matchup. Machac is a problem. Like, he has been a problem for a lot of people in the past. Now, he's playing Sinner, so this will be interesting. But they have played twice before. Sinner's won both matches straight sets. Both of those matches were in 2024. Both of those were on hard court. So, pardon me. It's going to be a very tough match if Machac is going to make this interesting. I think we're all expecting Sinner to win this one in straights, but I don't know. It's post-Australian Open tennis is weird. You know, we've had a lot of upsets on the women's side. You know, just weird shit happens in February on the ATP and WTA. We have upsets that, you know, we don't expect. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't expect Sinner to lose. I don't expect him to lose a set. I think this is going to be straight sets, but I wouldn't be that shocked if Machac was inspired and something happened and he made it tough for Sinner. But that, again, very, very long shot of that happening. By the way, Machac has had a good start to the year. Played a 5-setter in the heat against Musetti in Australia. Ended up losing that match, but physically, you know, usually he cramps. So that was a good physical fight. Even though he went down, he at least learned something about himself. And also, he won a title at the start of the year too. So he's got one more title than Sinner this year. So that's interesting. But he's playing Sinner. And Jannik Sinner is, pretty good at tennis. It's pretty good. It's pretty good at tennis. He can play tennis. Now, Sinner didn't play this event last year because he was banned this time last year. And he wasn't able to play, so that's it. No, so Anisimova is not playing because Krejcikova withdrew, so Anisimova is into the third round and she will play Chen in a couple of days. Under 19.5 games, you reckon? Okay. Well, we'll see. God, I hope this is interesting. It has potential. Winner of this place, Poprin, by the way. Machac has made some interesting matches before, but he's going to have to play ridiculously aggressive, reckless, and hope that it goes in. Like, redlining his game is the only chance of this being interesting in a close match sort of way. But how are we doing, chap? Are we ready? Also, Alcaraz is playing tomorrow night. No surprise. He's playing tomorrow night at this exact same time. Tomorrow's a bit of a weird day. We've got Alcaraz. We've got Eala. That's about it, really. I mean, there's not that much else to watch tomorrow. Those are the two big matches, Paolini versus Eala and Alcaraz. Raducanu is playing, though, so we might watch her. Coco's playing, too, against Kalinskaya, so we could watch her as well. But, yeah, I mean, in terms of, like, blockbuster matches, yeah, they're all at night. But, yeah, we'll keep an eye on all of that. But, yeah, we might watch Gauff versus Kalinskaya as well, maybe. Maybe we'll add that to the list. Hey, Jenny, thank you for the 45 months. Happy Lunar New Year to you, to who celebrates. Hey, thank you, Jenny, for coming back for another month as a Tier 2 member. Why didn't Anisimova play a lucky loser? Because lucky losers only come in from the first match onwards, not from the second match. Eala Paolini is this time tomorrow. Same as Alcaraz. We're going to have to do a doubleheader, but yeah. This time tomorrow. Tomorrow game, Eala Paolini. Midnight in Philippines. Yeah. Yep, be around midnight in the Philippines. All right, here we go. Machac, Sinner walking out on court. Let's see what comes of this. I mean, Chad, I kind of want to be shocked. I want to be shocked. I want to be surprised. Right? Life's getting too predictable right now. I need a tennis match to surprise me. On the women's side, it's doing fine, but on the men's side, I need a shock. I need something shocking to happen. Give me a surprise. Sinner fans don't want a shock. I don't think they're going. I don't think Mahac's going to win. Sinner should win easily. But I don't know. I just want to see something different. Maybe we'll get something different later in the week. All right. 4-4, you reckon? Yeah, I reckon it's probably going to be straight sets. Straightforward. All right, here we go. Sinner walking out. All right. Here comes Sinner. WTA's insane, man. I know, right? WTA is insane. Sinner's still wearing the mustard. He is still wearing that mustard color. They didn't give him a new outfit for a new day. All right. Machac needs Sinner to have an off day. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he's wearing. He's wearing the mustard. It's that mustard color back. He's got mustard back. Carlos and Jannik both received 1.3 fee appearance. Crazy. Twice for their winner of this tournament. Yeah. Crazy. It's crazy. I'm at work, can't watch online. But I'm going to guess Machac is rocking some short shorts. You would be correct. The shortest of shorts. Sinner will crush Alcaraz in Miami, Indian Wells, Roland Garros, and Wimbledon, okay? All right, they do a virtual coin toss where they press a button and it tosses the coin. All right. I think Machac is going to receive. Interesting. All right, here we go. Can confirm the shorts are short. Yep. The shorts are short. I repeat, the shorts are short. Alcaraz beat him twice in New Wells. Who's Sinner? Yeah. Winner plays Popperin. Also, Menchik is floating around the draw as well. So it's a pretty interesting draw. I would love to see Menchik Sinner. I think we kind of need that match this week. I hope Menchik is not injured, right? 100%. A physically fit Machac, a physically fit Menchik. But yeah, I'm interested to see the be fun to watch Menchik versus Sinner because I think we all rate Menchik, right? We think that he's going to be somebody. Just need him to perform against these guys. Pardon me. But first, Machac. Let's see what Machac can do. Let's see if Machac can do anything against this guy. Currently 30 in the world. Won a title at the start of the year. Also, we're with 100 likes, chat. Appreciate that. Pardon me. It's been a long couple of days. Tomorrow I need a day to regenerate. I need to plug back into the wall and recharge. Also, Feast won, which is great to see. So Adelaide champion, Machac, and also had a very tricky match against Musetti in Australia, but he did retire his last match, and he is known, unfortunately, Machac, for retiring injured. It is a theme. He does do it, so it's a bit of a shame if that happened. But hopefully, from Montpellier, he's had a week to recover. Sinner got something up his sleeve. He is great. Like, ready to go. Hope Carlos is watching, okay? Mahac's shorts are shorter than my life goals. What? All right. He's won 7 500 event titles, has Jannik Sinner. First time playing at this tournament, by the way. First appearance here. Last year he was supposed to play, but then he left for reasons we don't need to talk about because everybody knows why. But yeah. Do you know when Draper's coming back? He is coming back next week, apparently. According to the entry list. He'll be playing next week. Unless he withdraws. Okay. Here we go. Let's see if Machac can make this interesting. Or if Jannik Sinner is just going to cruise like he does against most players. Draper new haircut. That is true. He buzzed his hair. All right. Here we go. 2-0 is a head-to-head in favor of Sinner. Let's see if Machac can turn that around in any sort of way. Okay. Here we go. Sinner's first match since the Australian Open. His first match in Doha. Thanks so much. I've just seen my postcard. Hey, Ada, appreciate that. Thanks for sending a postcard. All right, here we go. I'm going to go Sinner in straight sets, but I just want to. I want to be surprised. I want to be wrong. You know what? I want to be wrong. I hope it's 3 sets, but I'm not going to pick 3 sets because I don't think it will be. But I'm going to pick Sinner in straights and hope that we get a competitive match, even if it is straight sets, competitive straight sets. Sinner's going to serve first, which means it could be 3-love in 5 minutes. All right. Who's going to win, chat? Tell me right now. Quick, go! 7th form to Machac. Return the backhand to Sinner. Machac. Backhand to the backhand to Sinner. Into the backhand of Machac. Sinner backhand. Again to the backhand of Machac. Sinner down the line. Machac goes on the stretch in the net. 15-love. Sinner serves again. 2-1 Sinner. Sinner in tight straight sets. Okay. Serving to the forehand, Machac. Return. Into the backhand of Sinner. Machac. Backhand to the backhand of Sinner. Into the backhand of Machac. Down the line to the forehand of Sinner. Machac on the stretch. Can't get it. 30 love. Yeah, this is... this could be over in an hour. 30 love. I think Machac should have served first. 30 love. Sinner serves. Down the tee, Machac slices it back. Sinner forehand to the forehand of Machac. Into the forehand of Sinner. Machac wins the point though. Sinner overhits it, 30-15. $30-15. Serve again. Into the forehand of Machac. Backhand from Sinner. To the backhand of Machac. Sinner again to the backhand of Machac. Into the forehand of Sinner. Machac forehand into the net. 40-15. $40-15. Yeah, Machac can play. He did beat Alcaraz in Shanghai a couple of years ago, I think it was. 24, I think he beat Alcaraz in Shanghai. When Shanghai was not slow. It was quick. But Sinner's not Alcaraz. And Alcaraz is not the same as he was 2 years ago anyway. One love Sinner. Match served. A fault. Second serve. Serving to the backhand of Sinner. Backhand from Machac. Drew the backhand of Sinner. Machac backhand into the forehand of Sinner. Sinner hits a winner. Love 15. Love 15. And Machac serves a fault. Second serve. Machac has to get first serves in, otherwise this is not going to be pretty. Second serve. Into the backhand of Sinner. Return the backhand of Machac. Sinner backhand. To the backhand of Machac. Down the line of the forehand of Sinner. Machac. Backhand again to the forehand of Sinner. Into the forehand of Machac. Sinner backhand. Into the forehand of Machac. Sinner backhand again. To the forehand of Machac. Again with the Sinner backhand. Machac. His own backhand to the backhand of Sinner. Machac backhand slice on the stretch. Sinner in control. He comes to the net with a forehand. Machac with a pass. Sinner with a volley. Too good. Love 30. This is going to be a short night at this point. Love 30. Love 30. As Machac serves another fault. That's 3 first serve missed. Second serve. As the return goes the forehand of Machac backhand for Sinner to the backhand of Machac. Sinner goes again to the backhand of Machac to the forehand of Sinner. Machac forehand down the line. Sinner gets with the backhand. Machac. Backhand cross court. Sinner gets with the backhand into the backhand of Machac. Sinner hits a backhand winner down the line. Holy shit. Sinner is crazy. That is some of the cleanest hitting you'll ever see. Love 40. What was that? Machac didn't play a bad rally. Sinner was just like, come on, I'm better than that. Oh my God. Love 40. Jeez, that was clean. Break points. Machac serves another fault. Second serve. As the backhand return goes in the backhand of Machac. Sinner backhand to the forehand of Machac. Sinner with a pass. Machac with a volley. Sinner with a backhand lob. Machac with a smash. Sinner gets with a pass in the net. All right, 15-40, one saved. $15.40. All right, 15-40. Machac serves again. A let. Serve again. Ace. I think that's the first serve he's hit. And it's an ace. Yeah, I saw this Alcaraz schedule. It sucks. 34. I knew it was going to happen, though, but it's fine. All right, 30-40. As the return goes to the net by Sinner. All right, Machac with a couple of good first serves. That helped. Deuce. By the way, chat, do you ever get that feeling when you just know, like, you feel like you're going to get sick? Like, you feel like your nose is about to start running and then your head starts getting to feel a little heavy? I feel that. I'm at that point. And right now I'm just thinking, God, my head feels a bit sore. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, advantage Sinner. You have that right now. There you go. Take vitamin C. Yes, I mean, again, it's not. Might just be tired. Advantage Sinner. Break point. He's got a fault second serve. Sinner's going on a warpath. He looked pissed from the AO. Yeah. He's on a revenge tour. Double fault. Break Sinner. 2-love. Two love. All right, Sinner serves again. Will this finish in an hour? Maybe. Return goes into the forehand of Sinner. Forehand from Machac. Sinner lets it bounce wide. 15-love. All right, first serve's a fault, second serve. 7 to the backhand of Machac. Sinner backhand again to the backhand of Machac. Into the forehand of Sinner as Machac. Forehand in the net. 30 love. 30 love. Who's going to win today? I'm going to go Sinner. $30 love. Sinner serves again. Into the backhand Machac. Return goes in the net. 40 love. Bold prediction, Cam. Look, I'd rather be right than bold. I'll pick the obvious one today. All right. 40 love. Sinner serves. An ace. 3 love. 3-0. 12 minutes. I said 5 minutes? 12 minutes. Yeah, it's close. All right, how we doing, chat? Here we go. Yeah, this is it. By the way, I tell you, Doha is very a lot of lights around the place. Okay. Seems like it's going to be a quick match. Hey, I'm not mad at that. It's been a long day. Tomorrow's going to be a pretty chill day, though. So it's just going to be a late. It's going to be a late day. Yeah. All right. Back to Machac. Let's see if we can get some first serves in here. Let's see if we can get some first serves in. Machac serves. A fault. Second serve. Into the forehand of Sinner. Forehand from Machac goes long. It's love 15. Do you think Alcaraz was a bit lucky at the Australian Open that Novak took out Sinner? Sinner would have been a tougher opponent in the final being 24? No, I 100% agree. If Sinner played Alcaraz, Alcaraz would have had a way tougher job to win that title. All right, back in Machac. The forehand of Sinner. Forehand of Machac. Sinner gets it back. In comes Machac with a forehand winner. That's good. Nice aggression. 15-0. All right, serving to the backhand is a fault. Second serve. Serving to the backhand of Sinner. Sinner in the net. 30-15. All right, 30-15. Serving the backhand of Sinner. Return goes forehand of Machac. Sinner on the stretch goes into the forehand of Machac. Machac hits it out 30-0. Do you think Sinner would have won the French if he had hit underarm serve on championship? I don't know. Maybe. How far was Alcaraz standing back? I don't remember. 30-0. As the return goes in the forehand of Machac. Sinner slice. In the net. 40-30. 40-30. Machac serves again. As a return goes into the back of Machac, backing out from Sinner. And then Machac with a winner down the line. Okay. Machac on the board. 3-1. Sinner. All right, 3-1. Hey, what's his name? He's a soccer player from England. What's his name? I want to say Rio Ferdinand. That's what I want to say. That's my answer. That's my answer. Chad, I am the smartest man in this house. All right. 15 love. Rio Ferdinand in the house. Chad, how do I know that? I don't know. I just know things, all right? Sometimes I just know things. I don't know. How does anybody know anything? 15 love. As a return goes out by Machac, 30 love. Chad, if I saw David Beckham, I know who that is. I would get David Beckham in one shot. Come on now. Obscure English footballers are a little bit different, right? But I knew who he was. Didn't he play? Who did he play for? Chelsea? No. Maybe? Or Man U? Man U. He played for Man U. Man United. See, I don't know that much. All right, 40 love. And we'll serve again. And leads in QPR. Hey! We are QPR. We are QPR. I've been to a match. 4-1 goes in the net by Sinner. It's 40-15. I've got a scarf. I'm a QPR. I could be a QPR fan. They're probably my second favorite team in the English soccer situation. 40-15. I went to a match. It was against Burnley, and there was 0-0, and I just drank a lot. There was nothing else to do. It was either drink or watch a scoreless draw. So we did both. First serve's a fault. Second serve. As a return goes in the back of a Sinner, backing up from Machac in the net. 4-1 Sinner. Your football knowledge is great too, Cam. We need you to stream World Cup matches. No. I will not stream other sports. Tennis only. If you want to watch other sports, other channels are doing other sports, and I can recommend them to you if you want. But I do what I know best, which is tennis. That was the Man U under Sir Alex Ferguson, the good old days. As soon as girlfriend's in the house, cool. All right, Machac. Feeling Sinner's wrath. They're playing some Kiss in the House. They said there was a tennis player who invited the best players in the world to his court all over the planet for his training sessions. What was his name? So happy Popperin got back to his winning ways. Yeah, but he beat a wild card from Qatar So I don't know. I don't know how. Respect to the man who got the wild card, but I don't know if Poppy winning a match against a wild card who's ranked 1,100 in the world. Whose highest ranking is 1,100 in the world, and that was 10 years ago. I don't think that fills me with much confidence. Look, shout out to Mubarak El Harassi, sorry. I can't read. It's 4 a.m. But he Popperin beating him is I mean, I'm glad that Poppy got the win, but also it doesn't really fill me with confidence that Popperin's back. I mean, this man is currently ranked 2,000 in the world. And Popperin lost 2 games. So that's a little concerning. That even though he's playing a guy who's 2,000 in the world, he lost 2 games. So, yeah, it's good to see Poppy get a win, but, I mean, probably doesn't set him up to play Sinner very well. Then you got to play Sinner, 2,000 to 2, right? It's a little bit of a difference. By the way, Swin, you must have a lot of friends. Are you that guy in the friends group who's just they're all talking about something and then you're like, let's talk about politics because that's fun? Love 40. Sinner. To get the double break here. Love 40. First serve is a fault. Second serve. Second serve in the forehand of Sinner. Sinner hits it out. 15-40. If Machac can bring it back, my $20 is $1,000. All right, Travis, and what happens if he doesn't? And if he doesn't? How can a 2,000 ranked player play here? They got a wild card. He got a wild card. All right, 15-40. Double fault. And there's the 5-1 lead. 5-1. It's a $20 donation. $20 into $1,000 or $20 donation to the betting company. I don't think you claim that on tax. If it's not a donation. If you, I don't think it's a donation. How does this court compare to Rotterdam? New to tennis. Well, one, it's outside, so there's no roof. It's probably a bit faster as well. So besides that, it's a different color. 5-1. As Machac returns in the back of the Sinner. Sinner hits a wide, love 15. This is a 500 event for the men. 1,000 for the ladies, 500 for the men. How does it? Yeah. All right. Love 15. Seven to the backhand is let from Sinner. Roger won this 8 times, so probably faster. It is a I wouldn't say a fast court, but it's definitely a more medium fast, traditional kind of outdoor hard court. I would say probably more like the Australian Open kind of court. Where's Gene? Gene knows these things. Let me have a look. Can I look it up? No, it's only 1,000s. Boo. But yeah, I would say it's probably on the medium fast scale. But then at night it gets really cold, so during the day it's probably really fast. At night it's probably a lot slower because of the weather. Because of the climate, right? In the desert, nighttime gets a bit chilly. Backhand wide by Machac, 30-15. Doesn't matter though. Sinner's winning anyway. Yeah, apparently it's a breezy in there as well. Bit windy. What makes a competition 500 or 1,000? So there's a select bunch of tournaments that are either 1,000 events or 500 or 250s or whatever. And it's based, the 1,000 means how many points, ranking points are on the line. How many you can get to win, right? So if it's an ATP 500, it means that the winner of the tournament gets 500 ranking points. If it's a 1,000 event or ATP 1,000, it means that they get 1,000 points for winning the tournament on the ranking. So it's all based on rankings, the number. Backhand return goes into the forehand of Sinner. Sinner puts away 6-1. 6-1. Sinner mentioned in the video similar to Indian Wells. Really? I always thought that Doha was fast. Or was not slow. Like was quicker than, was maybe like medium to medium fast. I don't think it was Indian Wells. I played Indian Wells. It was super slow. Then courts in the United States. Played over a decade ago. Okay. Yeah, Indian Wells is still notoriously slow. But I still a 9.7 performance rating. All right. Relax. 6.7 for Machac. My tea's still warm. Well, I'm getting an early night tonight. Suspect the facilities in the 1,000s are bigger than the 500. Sometimes. Not always. It's not a guarantee that the facilities are bigger in 1,000s than 500 because some 1,000s are small. Like Canada. I think Canada's only got like 7 courts, 8 courts. Monte Carlo is not a big facility. It's only got a couple of courts. Paris, before they moved, was tiny. They had a main stadium and like 2 car park courts. So it doesn't mean this facility's bigger or smaller. Yeah, Paris is tiny. 500 events, I mean, they can be massive ones too, right? Canada 1,000 should be a 500. Yeah. By the way, Sinner's girlfriend is not wearing the matching tracksuit that the whole coaching panel are wearing, so I'm a little disappointed. She is not dressed up as part of the team. She is wearing her own attire, and I think that is she even a part of the team? Did you hear Sinner will play doubles in Indian Wells with Opelka? I did hear that, yeah. All right. 6-1. As that goes the net by Sinner, 15 love. You know they should have a grass 1,000. I agree. I do agree. It's just like the problem with that is where. I feel like a lot of questions. A lot of people that say, "Hey, we should get a grass 1,000," don't actually have a logistical way to do it. It's all just like we should do that, and somebody else should sort it out. The hard part is like, yeah, everybody thinks. I mean, I don't know anyone who thinks that there shouldn't be a 1,000 on grass. But my question to you is, first of all, which tournament? And also, how is that tournament that you decide is a 1,000 going to fit into the tennis landscape with the facilities? Because there is a requirement in the rule book for 1,000s that have to have like a center court has to have so many people, to be a 1,000. The second court the court 2 has to have a lot of people, a certain amount of people that can go. They can't just be like, oh, well, center court's got, 5,000 and court 2 has 200. That's not going to work. It has to be, there's boxes that have to be ticked. Facilities have to be big enough to handle it. As Machac double faults 40-15. So it's not as simple as just going, yeah, Queen's Club. It's not that simple. There's a whole bunch of things you've got to tick off. It can't just be, because we said so. Also, 1,000 events. I know Monte Carlo is like one of the smaller ones, but it also needs to handle a 56-player draw, right? It can't just be, 36 player. No, that's just not how it has to have a draw size that can facilities that can handle a draw size like of a 1,000, not just like, for example, Queen's Club, right? If we're going to go with that example, Queen's Club is a is a 32-player draw, right? So is Hella, right? So is Hella. So in order for it to be a 1,000, it has to be a 56-player because Monte Carlo is 56-player draw, right? And that's, again, like one of the smallest ones. So not only do you have to double the draw size pretty much, how can the courts handle that amount of people on it? Plus, also remember, Queen's Club is now a women's event, and by the time we get to the men's final, the courts are ragged. So maybe it has to be Hella. But does Hella have the facilities? They have a center court, which is pretty damn big, but do they have a court too that could handle it, right? And then what happens with the women? They don't play Hella. So if you've got a men's event in Halle, do you have a women's in Berlin? Berlin's tiny. It's a tiny court. They don't have a big draw in Berlin. Berlin's a 28 size draw, and they don't have enough. I don't think you could upgrade that to 56 and be able to have a 1,000 for the ladies in Berlin because the facilities are just not going to work. Berlin's got like 3 courts. So there's a lot more to it than just like we should have a grass court 1,000. Like there's so much more that goes into it than just like going, you're a 1,000 now. Like there's a lot more to it than even though we all want that, but then it's a matter of like, how does it happen? You know, maybe you do Bad on Berg is a 1,000. I don't know what their courts are like, but you know, maybe Eastbourne, maybe I don't know. But there's definitely, it's not as simple as just like going, well, that tournament should be twice the size. And grass is also delicate. So you remember, like if we have a 1,000 event on grass and you've got double the size draw, then double the people are going to be on the courts, which means you're going to have more matches, which means the courts are going to deteriorate a lot quicker. So, you know, the more people there, the worse the courts are going to look in the final, you know. So that's another thing to consider, right? 40 love. And also, logistically, if we have a grass court 1,000 between 2 Grand Slams, is that okay? Is that going to work? Like if you go Roland Garros and then a week off and then a 1,000 and a week off and then a Grand Slam, that's a very tough schedule. Like two Grand Slams and then a 1,000 in between is that's rough. But is it mandatory, right? Is it not mandatory? Do you make it so that like you can skip it if you want? But then a lot of players might skip it. And then why is it a 1,000 then if no one's playing? So there's all that to think about, right? So it's not as easy. It's not easy to just like. It's not. It would have happened if it was easy, right? If it was a logistical, and if it made sense for the ATP and WTA, they would have done it. But it's not that easy. It's really complicated. Unless you add a week to the grass courts and you push Wimbledon back a week, but then that messes with Wimbledon, and Wimbledon could have weather problems in the end of July, right? And there's all that kind of problem. So, like, I think if the grass court season was 1 extra week, you could probably do a 1,000, but it's not. So you got to work with what you got. The grass season used to be 2 weeks. It was French Open, grass, Wimbledon. And then they added an extra week. Because people were... And then they made... I mean, Queen's Club used to be a 250. Halle used to be a 250. And now it's a 500. So anyways. So that's that's my TED Talk. 15 love. As a backhand return goes to forehand of Machac. Forehand from Sinner in the net. And it's 30 love. I wonder if I remember reading the rule book about 1,000 requirements because I thought that would, because this comment comes up all the time. Yeah, here we go. Stadium requirements were for 1,000. Here you go. This might have been last year or 2 years ago. The rule book might have changed. But for a combined 1,000 event, center court needed to have 12,000 people. Court 2 has to have 5,000. Court 3 has to have 2,000 people, and court 4 has to have 1,000 people, right? So you have to have 4 big courts with over 1,000 people can fit. Now, if it's only, if it's not a combined event, which we're saying these grass ones wouldn't be, if it's an outdoor venue, the center court has to have 10,000 people. So does Queen's Club center court hold 10,000? Because that automatically disqualifies it if it doesn't have a 10,000 seat stadium, right? So the center court at Queen's Club holds... Where can I see this? Why is it not telling me? Where is this thing? Let's go to Hella, because Hella's a little bit easy for me to find. So Hella's court 1. Nope, that's the wrong one. There we go, the Owl Arena. So the Owl Arena seats 12,000 people. So that ticks the first box, right? But then you need a court. Court 2 has to have, or the show court 1, right, has to have 3,000 people. So is the second biggest court in Hella have 3,000? And then you need a stadium with show court 2 to be 1,000. So you need, again, 3 big stadiums. I don't know if Hella has a big second and third courts to handle this. And I don't think Queen's Club do either. Like, they might have a center court with 10,000, but they probably don't have a court 2 with 3,000. So again, that's the first problem, right? That's before we even start talking about, like, you know, logistics. Like, that's just like step 1. Does it tick the box? No. Well, it can't happen. Forehand, winner by Sinner, and it's 15 love. It's not even telling me what Queen's Club center court holds. Why is that not? Why is that? So it's saying that the Andy Murray Arena says that it's 9 to 10,000. So and then court 1 has 1,000. And court 1 is supposed to have 3,000. So that's already automatically disqualified. So Queen's Club can't be at 1,000 based on that. Hella has 11,000, like I mentioned. But I'm not sure if the court 2 has enough. Anyways. All right. 30 love. $40 love Sinner with an ace. Has a 1,000 ever got downgraded to a 500? Yes. The Hamburg. I talked about this the other day. Hamburg. The Hamburg, or the German Open, I think it was called, back in 2008, was downgraded to a 500. Or more politely, as we say at Wide Tour, it wasn't downgraded because it was bad. It was replaced by Madrid. And I've said this story a lot. But yeah, where is it? Where is the Hamburg? It has a very, very strange history. So it was a 1,000 event from, or, you know, a top tier event from 1990 when the ATP started to 2008. And then in 2009, it turned into a 500 because in 2009, everything changed. Ranking points changed, and then the tour changed because the Asian swing came in. And that became a bigger part of the tour. So the reason why Hamburg got downgraded, because it was Rome. It used to be Monte Carlo, Hamburg, Rome, and then Roland Garros, right? That was the clay court swing. Madrid used to be at the end of the year on an indoor hard court with Paris. It used to be Madrid, Paris, ATP finals, right? But what they did was they made Shanghai, which was a successful ATP venue for the finals. they went, we should probably really invest in China, right? We should invest in China and go to China as a part of the tour because we don't really have an Asian swing. They always had Tokyo, but there was never really a proper okay, we're going to Asia in this time. So October became the Asian swing. They bought in Shanghai, but then that meant that Madrid would have to move. Madrid ended up being on clay. Now, Rafa was obviously a big number. He was number one at the time, or at least he was one of the big boys at the time. So they're like, well, we could probably put it on a clay court, and Rafa could play in front of, because he used to play Barcelona. But then they're like, Rafa could also play in Madrid on clay. So let's bring Madrid forward, and then that means Rome or Hamburg, or Monte Carlo, would have to be downgraded or moved. And they picked Hamburg for whatever reason. Maybe the attendance was low. I don't know exactly why Hamburg was the one that got chosen. Maybe it was because it wasn't as historic as some of the others. But then again, Hamburg's been around since 1892. So it's like, well, shit. That's pretty historic. It's been around for 134 years. Maybe it just wasn't it wasn't performing as well as the other ones, right? So it got downgraded to a 500. There's a whole mess between Hamburg and the ATP. Hamburg were like, what the hell is this shit? Why are you picking on us? And then Hamburg ended up getting pushed after Wimbledon into obscurity, which nobody ended up playing it for a while. And now it's back on it's back in the tour, but in the clay season. But yeah, Hamburg used to be a 5. I mean, there's been a lot of that. Not a lot of the Hamburg situation's a bit more unique, but there's been a lot of tournaments that have been either downgraded or they've been completely wiped off the face of the earth from being a 1,000. Like there used to be a lot of 1,000s in America, a lot more, and they were wiped out because other tournament took its place or they just weren't what they thought it was. Like there used to be on the women's side, 30-40. I'll tell you in a second. 30-40. 30-40. Break point for Sinner. By the way, Federer won 4 Hamburg Masters. He won 4. And then they changed it. Then they changed it to Madrid. And he only won a couple of those. Anyways, Machac in the net, 3-2. So some of the other ones, right? So there used to be a tournament in Stockholm, which was, not Stockholm, sorry, in Stuttgart for the men, which used to be a 1,000. And then it went to another part in Germany, and then it got downgraded. And then Stockholm actually had a 1,000 as well. The Stockholm Open at the end of the year, the 250, that used to be a 1,000. And Boris Becker dominated that. So, yeah, Stockholm used to be a 1,000. It got downgraded. Well, it got changed to a 250. On the women's side, we had Guadalajara recently come into the tour because we couldn't go to Asia. So Wuhan and Beijing were off the table for a couple of years because of you-know-what. Guadalajara came in as sort of like a placeholder because also the WTA finals went to Guadalajara in 21 and there was a great reception. So they're like, shit, we should probably come back here because there's a lot of people that love tennis in Mexico. Guadalajara became a 1,000. It's been now downgraded to a 500. But that's one of them. Chicago used to have a 1,000 event back in the day. So did Berlin. Tokyo used to be 1,000, and then that got downgraded. Moscow used to have 1,000. That got downgraded. Charleston used to be 1,000. That's been downgraded to a 500. San Diego used to have a 1,000, but that's kind of been wiped off the map now. Zurich as well. And Philadelphia also was a 1,000 event back in the day, and that got wiped off the map. So the women's side of things, there's been a lot more experiments at the 1,000 level than the men's side. Men's side, it's been like these staples forever. But yeah, on the women's side, they've kind of like gone everywhere. But yeah, it's a very interesting history of the ATP / WTA 1000s, like up and down, because they've only got a certain amount of licenses. That's why it's such a big deal that Saudi have bought a new license, because for so long there was only a certain set amount of licenses and they weren't making any more, right? There was a limited amount of licenses, and if you wanted one, somebody else would have to get it off somebody else, right? That's why the Saudi 1000 coming in with a new license, that's a huge deal. Like that's a big deal because for so long it was like, nope, we've only got this many licenses. We're not giving out anymore. We're not making new ones. We've only got 9, and you're going to have to figure it out amongst yourselves, right? And then they brought a new one in, right? Which we never had 10. It was always 9. So that's why this Saudi thing's huge for that reason too. It's historic because it doesn't happen. Usually somebody has to be downgraded to. I mean, Hamburg is a great example, like I mentioned. Shanghai didn't get a new license; they got Hamburg's license. Or they got Madrid's license, and then Madrid moved to Hamburg's spot. So and took the license for Hamburg. You know what I mean? So it's a weird one. It's a weird thing, which again brings up the point, like, how did Saudi Arabia get a license? Well, they obviously paid for it. They bought one. They had enough money to buy one, and it was in the ATP's financial interest to give them a license because they were willing to pay a lot for it. And no one was giving their license up. Indian Wells, Miami, they weren't giving them up. Everyone's they're like, well, we have to make a new one, but it's going to cost you. And I don't know. We don't know what the deal was and how much, but I'm sure it was a lot. It was probably a lot of money. Sharapova won Zurich a couple of times. Yeah. But yeah, it's a very interesting. Well, I find it interesting, but I'm a nerd, a tennis nerd, so obviously I love this shit. All right, Sinner 4-2. All right, Machac serves. He's playing terrible, Machac, to be honest. He's making a lot of errors, which is giving Sinner or helping Sinner, even though he doesn't need the help. And the default second serve. But yeah, I think the reason Guadalajara came in is because there was no 1000 event going on in Beijing or Wuhan. But then when Wuhan and Beijing came back on the map because the WTA started to go back there, that's when Guadalajara wasn't needed anymore. And they didn't need to be 1000 because it was good for a couple of years, but then Beijing and Wuhan came back, which were the 1000 events in October. And you didn't need another one. So that's why they moved. Guadalajara got downgraded. It was never supposed to be like forever. It was always just like a placeholder. Until the Asian swing came back properly, right? 30-15 is Machac in the net, 30-all. 30-all. By the way, Stockholm, let me have a check. When did that go from... By the way, Stockholm has now been moved to obscurity behind the Paris finals, which is crazy. But yeah, Stockholm used to be a staple of the... I mean, it wasn't a 1,000 for long, but it was a 1,000 between 1990 and 1995. And then 1995, it got downgraded to a 250. But yeah, it was a 1,000 for the start of the 90s. It was one of the staples of the ATPs, because the ATP started in 1990, right? So it goes out by Machac, Deuce. The ATP and WTA formed in 1990. So when they formed, initially they were like, okay, we need to organize the tour a bit. And Stockholm got a 1,000 because it was a big tournament before 1990. So it was kind of put in there with Indian Wells and Miami and stuff. And also you got to remember that. Well, why would 1990 have Stockholm be a big event? Well, Mats Wilander, Stefan Edberg, Bjorn Borg, right? You had all of these amazing players coming out of Sweden at the time, and Sweden had such a rich tennis history over that time. And you thought, well, shit, well, of course, Stockholm's buzzing because they're so good at tennis right now. So, yeah. So it's really interesting how that kind of works too. And again, like I said with Madrid, right? Madrid, again, I'm going to have to do a little bit more research to know exactly what happened at the time and remember the conversations and read some of the conversations at the time. But the reason why Madrid went to clay from a hard court would have probably mainly been because of Rafa, right? Because Rafa was doing so well, you know, and they were thinking, well, shit, we got to cash in on Rafa, the clay court king, and a 500 in Barcelona is not cutting it. We need to have a bigger event to showcase Rafa on clay, and Madrid was that tournament, right? But I'm not 100%. We're going to read up on a little bit as well, like some of the conversations around that, the reason why Madrid became clay courts. But I'm, again, guessing it was mainly because of Rafa. As Machac hits a lovely forehand, it's back to deuce. 1,000 down to 250 is wild. Yeah, I wonder if it coincided with the retirement of Edberg. Let me have a look when it downgraded in 1995. When did Verlander and Edberg retire? Oh, 96 Edberg. Okay. 96 Verlander. Okay. So it was almost like on the end of their careers. They went, you know what? We're not going to play there anymore. We're going to drop this tournament down. Yeah. It would have been wild if they were like, you know what, Edberg retired, this tournament's small now. We're going to turn this tournament into a 250 now. I mean, it's funny because I'm reading their Wikipedia pages as Machac holds. The final years of Verlander, 93 to 96, and the final years of Edberg, 93 to 96, and Stockholm was a 1,000 in 1990, and then it got downgraded in 95, just as Verlander and Edberg were like off the scene. So that's interesting. That the timing of that is very interesting. But like I said, it was a major tournament from the start of the 70s. So for 20 years, 25 years, Stockholm was seen as one of the big super tournaments. It's funny because the naming of things was really different back then. The 1,000 events were called Super 9 events, which I love that name. Bring back the Super 9. ATP Masters 1000s? Okay, that's a lot of words. Super 9? Let's do the ATP Super 9. I love that way better. The Super 9s is so fun. That is such a fun name. That is way more fun. It's very, very simple. 9 tournaments that are super. Like, it's easy. But yeah, I'm looking at 1990. So it was Indian Wells, Miami, Monte Carlo, Hamburg, Rome, Toronto, Cincinnati, Stockholm, Paris. And then, yeah, in 1995, they ended up going to Essen, Germany, instead of being in Stockholm. So it moved from Stockholm, the license went to Germany, and then it went to Stuttgart for a couple of years. And then in 2002, it went to Madrid. So that spot, everything else stayed the same. But in that spot where it started with Stockholm, it went to Germany, Stuttgart, and then it went to Madrid, and then it ended up being the Asian swing. That spot was the only thing that changed. And then Hamburg changed later. So it's yeah. I don't know, Chad. I find this shit really interesting. Super 9 is a cool name. I know, right? I want to... There's got to be like merch and shit for that, right? Like, there's got to be a logo for like the Masters Super 9s. Found it. One Google... Found it. I want that now. Give me that. I love the 90... Some of the logos from the ATP in the 90s was so fun. How much is this pin for the Super 9? $5 US. Does not ship to Australia. Okay, well that doesn't help me. I want the Mercedes-Benz Super 9 pin, please. That's so fun. Anyways, 30-15. As with a backhand now to the backhand of Sinner. Backhand now from Machac. Getting the backhand of Sinner is Machac forehand. That's a good shot. Sinner slices it back. 30 love here, Sinner. He's cruising as he hits a lovely backhand down the line. Machac in the net. All right, 40 love. Yeah, I loved the 1990s logo. I tell you, I miss the days when they used to use players as the logo. I kind of wish they did that again. Like, I know they've gone with like a real slim thing, but I wish they kind of use. I guess maybe they can't because of player like rights and shit. But I don't know. It was so fun to have like the 2001 logo used to look, used to have was it on? It was Pete, right? Pete was the logo, right? I'm pretty sure it was Pete was the logo. 40-15. Can we start a petition? Bring back the Super Nines. We should just start calling it Super Nines, just for fun. Like, yeah, we've got Indian Wells. It's the first of the Super Nine. We'll just use it. It'll be just our little secret. We'll just refer to it as a Super Nine. Backhand return goes wide by Machac, 5-3. And then people are like, what's a Super Nine? What's my favorite court to watch? I do love watching Monte Carlo. For sure. It's a 1 week Masters, which is a beautiful, rare thing these days, but it's also a beautiful venue. So my favorite tournament to watch is probably Monte Carlo. On the one out of the Super Nines. All right, return goes in the forehand of Machac. He hits a winner, 15-love. He's serving to stay in the match. By the way, chat, this match is almost over and we are out of here soon. And then we're back tomorrow to do it all again. As it a forehand from Machac. That's a beautiful shot. 30-love. Love. Machac says a fault. It's been 58 minutes, by the way. Yep, we're watching Alcaraz tomorrow night. Or this time tomorrow. There's a backhand drop shot from Sinner. In the net. 40-love. 40-love. Love. As the return goes the backhand of Machac. Then a drop shot. Sinner's going to get there. And hit a backhand winner. All right, 40-15. 40-15. As the return goes into the front of Machac. Machac in the net, 40-30. Reason that Madrid went from hard court to clay was to better align with the European clay swing, according to Google. Nah, there's more to it than that. Forehand goes down the line into the backhand of Sinner, but it's out by Machac. Deuce. Nah, that seems like an oversimplified. That's oversimplified. There's definitely more to that, more to it than that. Backhand to backhand rally. You got to do some more digging. You can't just. That's just surface level. That's an easy answer, Google. Anyways, Machac hits a winner advantage. All right. Sinner backhand down the line. Machac slices it back. Sinner forehand. Drop shot winner, and it's deuce. So, yeah. 2002, it came into Madrid came into the tour, replacing Stuttgart, which is now defunct on the ATP. And then in 2009, it was replaced. Sorry, 2008, it was replaced by Shanghai. And in 2009, under new ownership and a new location, new surface, a new time slot. So it got moved. It got moved, but it doesn't say because of it aligned with the clay season. I mean, Hamburg is in Europe as well. Backhand return, match point Sinner. Sinner with the backhand again, the backhand of Machac. To the forehand of Sinner, Machac with the forehand on the stretch. Sinner, forehand down the line, is Machac with the backhand, inside out to the forehand of Sinner. Into the forehand of Machac. Sinner with the backhand, into the forehand of Machac. Cross court, the forehand of Sinner, Machac. Backhand cross court, Sinner gets it. Machac, backhand, oh no, Sinner in the net. All right, back to deuce. Back to deuce. Back to deuce. As Machac hits a forehand long. And it's advantage Sinner. Advantage Sinner. Match point number 2 is we get a backhand out of the forehand of Sinner. Forehand Machac. Again, the forehand of Sinner slice is Machac. Forehand down the line. That's a winner, and we're back to deuce. All right, back to deuce. All right, as the return goes out by Sinner, Machac with the advantage. All right, advantage Machac. As a forehand goes in the backhand of Sinner. Great shot down the line. Machac gets it back. But the forehand goes in the net and we get to deuce. By the way, chat, interestingly enough, I'm just having a look. As Machac losing the point, his advantage Sinner, match point number 3. Yeah, a lot of changes that we see to this day were changed back in the ATP 2009 season. New CEO came in. Everything changed. Anyways, backhand Machac drop shot. Oh, Sinner can't get it. Machac survives. Back to deuce. Back to deuce. All right, serve again. To the backhand of Sinner. Sinner in the net. Advantage Machac. As with a backhand out of the forehand of Sinner. Forehand from Machac. Again to the forehand of Sinner is Machac. Forehand cross court is a winner. And it's 5-4. Sinner's going to serve for the match. All right. By the way, it's interesting. Monte Carlo almost lost its 1,000 status, but it was Hamburg that took the fall. Interesting. And Federer and Nadal, and even Djokovic, weren't really fans of Hamburg being downgraded. Interesting. And changing like to the Asian swing, I guess because they didn't want to travel to Asia in October, but interesting. Very interesting. All right. 5-4 Sinner's going to serve this match. I enjoyed being in Hamburg in 06. Yeah, it's one of those tournaments that is often forgotten. But now it's like back in the fold, so. All right. Sinner with an ace, 15 love. Have Sinner and Alcaraz met more times than Alcaraz and McEnroe and Borg? Maybe. McEnroe Borg played 14 times. Yeah. Which is weird because you would have expected them to play 30 times because of some of the matches they played were so important. But yeah, they only played 14 times. Interesting. All right, 30 love Sinner. Yeah, Borg and Mac only played 14 times. By the way, 14 times in 3 years. They only played 3 years. 1978 to 1981. And that was it. Mainly because Borg retired. But yeah, they only played 14 times and 3 years. Which is interesting. Backhand goes in from Sinner. 40 love. By the way, when I say 3 years, that's like if Sinner and Alcaraz played for the first time in 2022 and they didn't play after last year. Like, that's what that would be. If Sinner and Alcaraz's first match was in 2022 and then last year, after the US Open or after the ATP Finals, they never played again. That's what McEnroe-Borg rivalry was like. That's how long we're talking. Like, this long, like this. 40 love. Crazy. Serving to the forehand Machac, return goes backhand of Sinner. It's a wide 40-15. And look, and it's mainly because Borg retired. You can't play someone who's not playing. Fun fact. All right. Still match point for Sinner. Serve. Into the forehand Machac is a let. Match point Sinner. Ace, there it is. Sinner wins. Straight sets. He's into the second round. He played Popperin in a couple of days. Why did he retire at 26? He just lost the love of the game. Didn't want to play anymore. Didn't like it. Yeah. Sometimes, chat, when you're working at a job and you don't enjoy it, you decide to go somewhere and do something else. That's what happens. And it happens to tennis players too. And it happened to be on Borg. And then he came back, but he came back with a wooden racket in an era of metal and graphite, and he wasn't able to do a lot of damage. It wasn't like he was. There's a good video on Cult Tennis YouTube channel that talks about Borg's return to tennis his failed return or whatever. I don't remember what the title was, but it was like Borg's retirement return failure or something. Interesting, very interesting video when he came back and he tried to use a wooden racket, and when everybody else had moved on from wooden rackets by then and started using more of the rackets we're using now, right? Anyways, go watch that video. It's really, really good. All right, Sinner wins. If you are leaving, don't forget to sub on the way out. Yeah. Try to come back with outdated racket. Yeah, exactly. Cammy, you're right. He won. Yeah, I said Sinner would win, didn't I? Wow. God, I'll tell you, I know something about something. That's crazy how I picked Sinner and he won. That's crazy. Some people say my predictions are terrible, but I can't believe it. I got one right. Carlos is playing tomorrow. I just want Medi to play Alcaraz. Sigh. Well, that might happen. It might happen. All right. Oh, man. Well, we're going to be back again. Do it all again tomorrow. So make sure you join us for that. Medvedev's coming up, but we're not watching him. And I think it's all done over in not Rotterdam. In Dubai, I think it's all done for the day. Yeah, I think all the matches are done, so that's fun. Badosa plays Svitolina. Interesting. So tomorrow we've got Palini Eala, Gauff Kalinskaya. Raducanu is playing as well. So we might watch some of those matches. And then Alcaraz tomorrow night on the men's side. So that is the plan. Oh yeah, Bublik pulled out because he was tired. He's played a lot of tennis lately, so he didn't want to play an extra week. And also traveling to Doha probably a pain in the ass. All right. Go Norway. That's it. Is it true that Dubai tournament director wants to deduct points for Swiatek and Arena? Yes. Because he thinks there should be a harsh penalties for big names not playing his tournament. All right. Anyways, thanks for hanging out. It's been a long night. It's been a long day, long night. Oh, man. But we'll be back tomorrow to do it all again. I'm not sure what time, but we will be doing it at some point tomorrow. I think the first match we're going to watch might start... Oh, okay, Gauff starts in the middle of the evening. But I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out. Sinner wins. 6-1, 6-4. Knocks out Machac in straight sets. Machac was on the back foot from the start. Never really got into it. Sinner didn't even face a break point. I mean, he was ridiculous. But we're going to watch Carlos tomorrow. So I'll see you guys then. Also, don't forget we're going to watch... we've got Eala Palini tomorrow as well, which is huge interest in that match too. So I'll see you tomorrow. Sinner wins.